De mare.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome.
Hey, what's good? All the way live from London, sunny London.
Yeah,
Big up
yeah.
family. We're
Sunny
here.
London.
Rising. What's good?
What's good?
Hey, always good to see you, Dima. Always good to see you, Queen.
Likewise, it's such a pleasure and an honor and a blessing to have you with us. Alain, family, welcome, 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 wherever you're tuning in from, whether it's night, morning, afternoon, maskofi, bonjour, buenos dias, good morning, in all the language, sabah al-khair, sabah al-ful, welcome. Tell us in your language how to say hello or peace, and tell us.
Bless up. Just bless up. What's good? Love,
Bless
family.
up.
Universal languages. Universal.
Yes,
Love.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Blessings, blessings, fam. Okay, I'm just gonna tell our family tuning in onto our Facebook, our YouTube, because this is live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Because you know what? We're everywhere, and this is what we're here to talk about. We are so privileged. I am personally so excited to have this king right here with us to tell us what he's been doing. Because let me tell you, from all the way in London, he's been sending love. He's been sending light. He's been sending pure life into our family around the world. And we're here to ask him, why do Black love stories matter? First, tell us who you are, tell us what you do, and tell us what keeps you up at night, Alain.
Okay, my name is Alain. That's my birth name. Alain Fusion Clapham. I took on the name Fusion because hip hop entered me. It transformed my life. I grew up on like Public Enemy, KRS-One, further down the line, people like Nas, even NWA. And this was just rebel music that just made me feel like I needed to know more about my roots and my culture. So it took me on this journey. I was a shy kid, so I didn't MC. I wasn't the one dancing, b-boying and stuff. And I didn't really feel it was safe to spray the walls with graffiti. So I was a DJ. Yeah. If you look behind me, yeah, it's nothing but vinyl. So I grew up cutting, scratching, mixing, and I'll forever be mixing and just blending the culture together as a musician, as a journalist, as a TV presenter, as an educator. And as soon as we created the Black Man Time platform as a transformative storyteller for my people, and we're here. So what keeps me up at night? Just ways to just dream new realities. You know, at night sometimes, you know, I stay up. That's my most creative time. And when I sleep, I dream solutions and possibilities, and I wake up and try and put them into action. So, you know, we're never sleeping on the job. We're always on mission, always connecting with the most high energy, and living a life of purpose, which led me to this queen over there, who's just, you know, just a beacon of light, and she's led us back to the motherland, and we're here. What's good?
You hear, and let me tell you, the first comment, just so you know, the ancestors are really here and they're really working. Do you want to say something?
Wow. Hey, I just want to say kumustaka to Joe Ma. Yeah, I hope everything mabuti, my brother, because that's the universe at work. One half of my heritage, we're all from the motherland, but one half of my my kind of immediate heritage is the Caribbean. So my dad is from St. Vincent. So shouts out to all my Vincies out there. And the other half, my mother is from the Philippines. So first comment there, man, that's crazy. Love. Yeah.
And this unicorn right here, my sister, seriously, I mean, one of the reasons I have this is Tara.
I've got a story about unicorns. This is great. We're just going to do word association for the whole show.
This is the family space. We're all one. Tell us your unicorn story.
I tell stories, but I got to write my stories. So a book will manifest at some point. But one of the chapters is called I Know Unicorns. And all I'm saying in that is, when you think of things that are magical or things that people say don't exist, if you act scared, frightened, or shocked, you'll always scare away the thing that is beautiful. So when you see something beautiful, even if you've never seen it before, show humility and love. So whenever I see unicorns, I show love, because I don't want that unicorn to run off and never see it again. So I love unicorns. I know unicorns. So shout out.
Yes. I can't wait for that book. I can't wait for that chapter. All right.
Come on, yeah, man. My booty. He knows what's up. Yeah.
You see? Welcome to everyone tuning in from around the world. Keep these comments coming. We're here to learn more about Black Men Time, to learn more about the queen version of BMT, which is BWT, and we're gonna have one of the queens tell us about it.
Yes. The women out here, our queens, our foundation. Yeah. And just the root of it all is just telling stories about our people, because if we don't tell our stories, we cannot trust another nation to speak our stories into the world. We are the original storytellers. We are the original people, and it's time we share that vibration with the world. And we have this incredible gift right now, the internet, which is still liberated enough to have these free conversations. So we have to have them frequently. Word.
Absolutely. Is that why you started BMT Stories?
I started BMT Stories because I've always been a storyteller in some way. As a DJ, I was telling the story of the party. So you turned up, you held your drink, you held your girl or your guy, whatever, and I would hold the vibe. I would tell the story of the dance, the lit tunes to get you hyped, the mellow tunes to calm you down. When I produced, I would tell the story of the singers and the rappers. They had these messages and they needed a sound to carry the message. When I was a journalist, I told stories about some of the most iconic artists. Around my room, I got plaques for Lauryn Hill, Notorious B.I.G. I've interviewed Jay-Z, Jennifer Lopez, Diddy, Dre, and I met all these people because I was a good storyteller and they trusted me with their stories, and we broadcast or wrote them. So by the time I finished being an educator, well, I still am, but I finished being a teacher in classrooms, I realized I'd given so much to the youth, and now I needed to re-energize and reclaim my identity. And I hadn't really celebrated publicly and professionally my melanin. I was melanated and existing, but I wasn't celebrating. So I thought, if I'm a master storyteller, let me tell a story about our people. And it began thanks to a friend of mine. Her name is Natalie Wade. She runs a platform called Small Green Shoots. And they look after the grassroots of youth culture and just Black creativity and creativity in general. And just like Dima, she listens. I'm always saying, I want to do this. I'm about to do this. I hope to do this. I plan to do this. It's a huge field of manifestation. And I'm just there planting seeds. And sometimes the queen comes and waters that seed. And she said, I heard you wanted to do something about Black men and telling the stories as we get older about who we are. And I've secured some funding. So now all you have to do is do it. And I was like, wow. It's like that pot of gold was there, and I invested it wisely. I told a very personal story of 3 of my friends who I'd known from my everyday life, very special to me. And I realized we are men, but we don't know our whole story. I don't know what their lives were like growing up, what their dreams and aspirations were before I met them. We'd always talk about going to the studio, going out, hanging out, relationships, whenever the route. So I sat them all down one by one. I said, could you please give me 2 hours of your time? Tell me about your mum. Tell me about your dad. Tell me about your neighborhood. Tell me about who you were, your first dreams of what you wanted to be as a child, your early memories. And they opened up, and I captured these beautiful stories. And I knew they wouldn't want to go on stage and be like, hey, you know, as a child, you know, I was in the Caribbean and I was one of the smartest kids at school and I had a scholarship and the scholarship was big enough for my whole family to be fed. And I was chauffeur driven to school and it was all going beautifully until my mum moved to the UK. I lost my scholarship and I went to the worst school and my life went downhill. I know they didn't want to tell these stories on stage. You know, they're either too personal or they weren't extroverts. So I gave those stories to directors. I gave those stories to poets. I gave the stories to actors. And I said, listen with your heart for these 2 hours and extract from that the most meaningful story. Write a monologue and come on stage and perform that. And we will pay you and we'll show gratitude. And by the way, the people you're writing about will be in the audience. So wow. I had this perfect triangle. I had a person who shared their heart and was trusting a stranger to tell their story. An actor doing a biopic, telling the story of a stranger who's in the audience. And me and the audience at the top of that pyramid, no idea what's going to happen. No rehearsal.
Wow.
And I went on stage and I said, this is Black Man time. These are our stories. Let the storytelling begin. And it was just the most humbling, uplifting experience to feel seen, to feel valued, to know there's dignity and a universal truth. Because our audience were like the London audience, all cultures. Because they'd never heard a Black man tell a Black man's story to the world. They always heard the stories through newspapers. They always said we were victims, villains. You know, they had heard rumors and stereotypes. And they came to hear us speak. And there was so much love in the room, man. So much love in the room. One of the best stories, they were all beautiful. But Doc Brown, brilliant actor. Not only did he take time out of his acting career and his schedule, he wrote the most moving tribute to my friend Spider. He researched his birth date, he researched his whole musical journey, and he wrote a poem. And his hand was shaking as he read the poem. Not because he's a shy performer, because it was so raw and so honest. And he performed it. And Spider would never, ever tell you he's met Bob Marley and hung out with Bob Marley. He would never tell you that he's been asked by Stevie Wonder to go to the studio and give him a sound. So Stevie Wonder's like, I need your sound. And it was so beautiful for Spider to sit in the audience and have somebody tell his story while he's alive, to smell the roses, to receive the gratitude. And out of that, Black Man Time was born. And I haven't stopped. That was 2 years ago.
I'm speechless, because while I have been trying to get this brother into Africa Week 2020 family since our inaugural event in May, but divine timing is real and it happens when it happens. This I did not know. This backstory I did not. I actually watched one of the shows. I think it was on YouTube. Where people were coming up and reading, and I'm getting really emotional because I heard them, and I actually thought they were talking about them. I thought they were their stories, and now for you to tell me that they were not, and they were channeled in such truth, in such presence, in such love.
This is us. We wrote on the walls in the pyramids, you know, our truths, our stories. Whether it's Alexandria, Timbuktu, you know, we had our stories in the libraries. When we were transported from Africa, we carried capoeira and the dances. And when we were on the plantations, we sung our stories. We are the living embodiment of our stories. We're vessels for the ancestors. And what we do is we pass these stories on to the youth. And wow, it's a blessing to be able to connect through these digital means. You know, I'm gonna be real with you. As excited as I am that we have the internet, when I look at a pyramid that's 6,000 plus years old, and I know it's positioned perfectly in alignment with the stars, I know our technology has not reached its peak. This is infancy. we are ascending to a higher level. And this is so natural to us because these are the base building blocks of our greatness. And we're just reassembling. Africa Rising to me is feeling home just because it feels like home. I don't have to go, but I will go. But right now, I feel you. The digital family, the diaspora all feels each other. And the frequency, it travels. It can't be stopped. So we must keep telling stories, the very best of our stories, the stories that liberate us. I did that show as a one-off show, but it sold out. And people said, you have to do it again.
You have to.
You have to do it again. And when you get a call in, if you don't answer your call in, when you get called to go home, you're not going to want to go home. It's like when your mum says, get home by 6 and you don't listen. Yes. And it's 7. You're having such a great time kicking a football and running around. And now it's 8. And now all the other boys and girls are getting home and you have to go home. And you know you're going to get beat. You know, when I get a call in, I'll answer it. So that's what I do. And I've been doing Black Man Time and eventually Black Woman Time ever since. And I'm going to say eventually, we have to, as men, understand ourselves before we can honor anybody else. So often we try to give what we don't have. And the intention is beautiful, but the damage is unacceptable. You know, we have wounds. If you're an adult now, you have survived some kind of traumatic experience, some difficulty. And a lot of us have to do the shadow work to look at where we've been hurt, where our triggers are, where our weaknesses are. And we have to do that. There'll be a lot of tears, a lot of solitude. There'll be a lot of pain. But out of that comes healing. And out of that healing, we can then talk to others, knowing that if something goes wrong, it's not intentional and it's not coming from the wound. You know, so when I reach out to the sisters to do Black Woman Time, it's had its challenges, but I know that I'm walking with the intention of holding the square as men and providing the space for women to shine and to rise up. And I recently had a very good friend of mine who was telling me the story of Nefertiti. And what I loved about that particular story is Akhenaten takes the queen, who's the beautiful woman who has come from another land. And in the early depictions, he is the king standing in front of the woman, which is the traditional pose. By the middle of his reign, they are side by side. And by the end of his reign, she's depicted on her own, dealing with foreign dignitaries. And as Black Woman Time, all we've done is we've gone ahead. We've then created a platform. We're standing side by side. And as we grow, we expect our queens to rise in their queendom. And we're just beginning that journey now.
This is beautiful. This is everything. So we started the first session to launch, if you will, Africa Week 2020, our September reunion, was something that I decided on last night. And I decided that I'm going to have it every morning because at least from morning time on the East Coast here, right. We have to start positive. And we have to remind ourselves of these stories, of what you're saying. So the session started with what's right with Africa. And by Africa, I don't mean just the continent.
Yeah.
Because Africa, Mama Africa, is never just about that geographic space. No African mother, no mother is ever just about her space. It's about her children, wherever she sends them to go conquer this world, and our neighbors and our neighbors' neighbors. That's what our mothers are. That's what Mama Africa is. And you are the embodiment of what's right with Africa, just like everyone who is taking the time to come in, to share their truth, to share the love that they are pouring into our ever-growing family. Because you know what? We are getting connected beyond any comprehension, and that is what the system is crumbling. The system, the current system is shaking, not because of anything, but recognizing that we are coming together. That is what's making them shake in their boots, on their ground. It is moving from under them because they understand that whatever is buried under is rising. and they can't do anything about it.
Word.
No corona, no masks, no COVID, no superficial borders that they got happy with on a map is coming between us, because here you are in London, here I am in Maryland, sunny as it is on both sides.
Yeah.
And we're on the same pulse, we're on the same beat, and we're not skipping one. And I'm so grateful for you. We have some comments coming through.
Likewise.
We have a hello from Paris.
Hey.
Hello, Fiona. And we have, I believe, all indigenous people or Black man, woman all around the world. They are discriminated. The other people, more power, indigenous people and Black men, more power.
Oh, Joe Ma, you can come hang out anytime. You know, one of the most empowering revelations for me, and this is the year of revelations. We have to kind of decode what a revelation is. It's a revealing, you know, and this year has revealed hidden truths. It's revealed the fragility of a system, that it just takes a couple of months of difficult times and the whole system starts to collapse in upon itself. And it's also forced us to look at our relationships with each other, you know. But one of the revelations I had this year was a friend of mine who helped launch the Black Love Stories platform, which we'll talk about. Miss Yankee was definitely saying, you know, they call us a minority, but in the world, we are the global majority. And, you know, living here in the UK, they can call me a minority all they want. When you look at the bigger picture, we are the collective family. We are the biggest family on the planet. And when you take that into account, you feel power. Oh, you feel power.
Absolutely.
You know, I love, like what my sister was saying, like, oh, you know, Beach, I love you. You need to maybe just tone it down a little. You know, you're calling it Black man time, Black love stories, and maybe people won't get that in the UK. I'm like, maybe they won't, maybe they will. But if I say it's Black, all the people of color around the world will say, this might fit me. I might see myself when I look in this mirror. So I'm like, I can't, because this global marketplace, this global family is where our future lies. You know, you mentioned the mother. You know, my mum lives here in the UK. Her mother lived in the Philippines, but my mum would go home to see her mum and make sure her mum was good. So many of us abroad are beginning to prepare ourselves for that journey back. You know, we're not rushing. We're making sure that we leave in an orderly fashion and bring with us the things that can, you know, we're not rushing home. We want to bring knowledge. You know, people don't realize this is the heart of empire. I live in the heart of an empire. And, you know, I walk on uncommon squares out here, you know, so I have insights. You know, people who live out in the mainland Europe have insights. African Americans, they call themselves, have insights. So when we can come home with those insights, we can add some value and learn much as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You bring in everything you've learned. And this is why we ask, this is how we're doing the bios at Africa Week 2020. We're not interested in what schools you went to, what institution and whatever flag and whatever shiny logo they have sealed and, you know, acknowledged your greatness. We know you're great.
Word.
Because we're great. We are one. So your greatness is there. You come, you just tell us, this is what I'm bringing. Whatever it is, this is what I'm bringing to the family. This is what I'm looking for. That's why I asked you, what keeps you up at night? Because at the end of the session, I'll ask you, how can our global family help you have a more restful sleep? But of course, you being the king that you are, the giant that you are, the wave maker, the change maker that you are, you so poetically said that what keeps you up at night is solutions, is finding these solutions. And I hope you will find in this family more people who are co-creating these solutions for our sustainable development.
I know that to be true already. It's just a question of how much and how we can apply it, you know. It's crazy. I mean, my background is journalism. You know, the only language I speak with any efficiency is English. You know, so you know, I do hope there's some ability to translate, share messages, and the frequency. But when I think of a solution, I think of sol is sun, and solution is liquid. So, you know, when I'm looking for solutions, sometimes you're just there and you just want to draw down that sun energy.
Oh, wow.
We are water beings, you know. We are like 60-70% water. So the connection between the sun as inspiration and us as a vessel receiving that energy, you know, we are the solution. You think about it. We actually
really are. People, wherever you're tuning in from, show us, tell me this isn't lighting some serious fire in your soul right now, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. Tell me this didn't get you. Say, wow, this is what you're going to be expecting. This is just the beginning. And this is why we're so happy to have this brother here with us. Let's see some of the comments. Ifa, the sacred wisdom of our Yoruba ancestors teaches us that we must kneel before women because it is a woman that gave birth to humanity. We must kneel before women because it is a woman that gave birth to a king before the king became an Orisha.
Woo! Come on, man. You know, we all emerge from the black hole. You know, this is it. We're here. That's the sacred science right there. So.
Louise is tuning in from Washington, D.C. Welcome, welcome, Louise. We have the sister Valesca from Puerto Rico. Welcome, welcome. Puerto Rico is representing here.
Wow,
As well. Look at this. Look at this connection.
So exciting. You know, it's like I've lived here all my life in London, and right now I feel like I'm looking out my window and the whole world is passing by and waving, man. And it's so.
And now you have California passing through as well. Adrian coming through from Long Beach, County of Los Angeles. And then you have Jomar saying, anyway, I am indigenous people here in the Philippines. I'm one youth climate change activist and ancestral domain defender against the mining. Ashe to you, brother, and to all the work you do. We are here with some very exciting news because this mastermind here who created BMT and eventually BWT, they came together and have a little child that is BLS.
Yeah, this child walking now, man. This child walking, you know, it's this quick learner. So this year, before the whole landscape change with COVID and Corona, you know, we were preparing a live show, myself, Miss Yankee, and 12 poets, 6 female poets, 6 male poets. We all came together as a collective, and what we wanted to do was tell the world's oldest love story. You know, I'm always excited by reframing reality. And a lot of the time I hear in the country I live in, when we talk about Black love, that it is exclusive. It doesn't include anybody else. But I'm like, I've been watching white love all my life, and I laughed at the jokes and smiled and cried at the right moments. Like, I watched Friends as a kid growing up. I didn't feel excluded. I watched it, you know. So sometimes you got to watch us and see whether you see a universal truth. But apart from that, I'm like, the Black love is the original love. The whole world acknowledges the first human being would have had to have been a sister. The first union would have had to have been with a Black man. And out of that, there was a love, there was a birth. So the Black love stories is the world's oldest love story. To anyone who's ever loved has to pay attention to the original lovers. You know, and when you get them like that, when you get them like that, and they're like, I don't want to see your logic, I don't want to feel your energy, but it's irresistible. They're talking about facts, foundation facts. If any historians want to disqualify that, bring them. Absolutely. You know, we've had, you know, great historians in the past who've battled with you know, with other historical figures. You got, you know, John Hendrik Clark, Joseph Ben Cannon, Ivan van Sertima. You know, these academics will fight against anyone who would question the validity of the Black story. And I'm just here like, yo, you've lost the fight, you know, but it's a good loss because now we can show you how we began the love story. So it's instead of a male poet just doing his I feel love like this, then a sister coming on, we asked the poets to say, could you surrender some space to create with another poet and write a piece together? and perform it together for the first time on a stage. They said yes, and we were just ready to do the show. The theatre was booked, the tickets were selling. It was looking so good. And then this madness happened, but the virus just done the whole program. And it was the week of the event when lockdown happened in the
Oh
UK.
my God.
And rather than go into a panic and you know, hide from the world, I was like, well, if the world is behind doors, let's put the show on live. Let's give the world a story that while they're there at home stressing and worrying about what's happening next, love is happening here every Friday, 7 till 9. And I did it for 3 episodes. I was like, let's just tell the story of the troll poets, get it done. But it doesn't work like that. You get a call in and people say, we love this. And I said, well, I've only got 2 more episodes left. And my friend went quiet on the phone. She was like, I was kind of hoping this would carry on. You know, that's a love story in itself. You know, you think it was something for a moment and someone says, no, this is special. So I've honored it. And we're now 4 or 5 months in. We moved it to Wednesday. And the show has become about a global family sharing spoken word, you know, poetry, a universal language. Our poetry ranges from love poetry in the traditional sense about who we love, who we've lost. Poetry about family love, you know, how we've missed our family members or been squashed in a room with them for too many weeks or months and going slightly crazy. Sapiosexual love, where the academic, the intellectual stimulation turns into love. And in the wake of George Floyd's murder, love of the Black body, love of the Black condition, love of the Black struggle. So we launched our Love Revolution series, which has been, you know, revolutionary poetry, storytelling. We have music, so I'm always playing some instrumental soul in the background.
Yes, yes.
I'm always these. Come on, I got all the records behind me, so I am always bubbling in the show. We have a thing called the 6-minute free write, where we encourage the global family. It's beautiful, man. Like, we have 6 collective minutes. I give you a couple of prompts on the screen, and I encourage everybody to write a poem, whether you're a pro or whether you're just a beginner. You know, and then I hit the request button, and then people come online and they're sharing poems they've just written from their kitchen, from their living room, with their daughter on their lap, from work. And it's humbling, man. And just great conversation.
All kinds of people, and I mean all. You have this queen who's baking and telling you some lines that will just wake you into existence. You have Bex, yeah. You're listening. I'm Nubian from Sudan, and I got connected to this sister from South Sudan because of Alain. And whenever I feel like, what am I doing? I'm not even joking. I go to Bex's page.
Yeah.
Because she's just so herself. She's just, that video that you had for, I think it was the Return of the Icons video that she recorded as she was working on creating that video, and her talking to herself as she talks to the machine, just to remind you, you're not alone. You're not alone in talking to yourself. You're not alone in sometimes really telling yourself, what were you thinking? You're not alone in questioning yourself. You're not alone in honoring yourself. You're not alone in celebrating yourself. You're not alone in scolding yourself, that we all do it. And it's all one. And this brother also in the last session, Conversations with Constellations. That was
that's like Nate the lyricist, yo, for real.
It's really, everyone, please, brothers, sisters, family, follow on Instagram at BMT Stories. Okay. I will put that here now. Do it right now as we
do it, man. Like we go out every week, but every day we're posting up stories from the collective family, all the authors, all the musicians, all the activists, anyone who's got a message for the Black man, the Black woman. we're always encouraging, supporting, and educating as well. So we just want you to be connected with us. You know, we're gonna follow back and
reach out, reach out.
bro.
One of our hashtags here at Africa Week 2020 is reach out fam. Reach out to that family, because again, there are no coincidences, zero. And when we say we are Africa rising, and when I say our ancestors are rising, and on his side, Alain is saying our ancestors are rising, and we're all saying our ancestors are joining forces. Because if I'm sat here in Maryland, he's in London, Alexandra's in Portland, where is Miss Yankee?
She's in London too.
She's in London as well.
And roots, but yeah.
Everywhere, Ronelle is in South Africa, and we all get whispered the same thing into our ears, into our very soul, that at this time, while the world is closing its doors, while everyone is grounded, because you know what, all the divine mothers have rolled up their sleeves and grounded us, because we deserve that grounding of how we've been treating Mother Earth, Mother Nature, how we've been treating ourselves, and how we've been treating our mothers, and specifically how we've been treating Mama Africa and her children. And so we needed this grounding, but we all got that same whisper. And more of us have gotten that whisper that this is the time where people will look back and realize that while everyone was on lockdown, Africa herself was rising. We need to connect with one another. And it's been happening in some of the most random, some of the most inspiring, some of the most magical ways. I can't even tell you. How I got connected to Alain wasn't even BMT stories. It wasn't.
Really?
It was someone who had tagged you on as Instagram. And I was just like, hang on, what is this?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And when I see your video calling on the MCs for the return of the icons, I was like, hang on, what? And then from there, I see BM stories, and I was like, no. It's this one creature.
VCAS, man. VCAS is the homie. You know, he's my brother, and he's known me. I've been a musician, producer.
No, it wasn't even VCAS. I don't even remember who it was who tagged you.
Yeah. Well, VCAS, you know, has known me through all the different stages of my journey, and a lot of people know me as a presenter, but he just like, yo, you're dope with the beats. Give us a beat, and I got this project about returning like the artifacts back to Africa. I'm like, bro, I'm here for this. So I did a video encouraging people to rap, do poetry over my beats. And the video did a little something, like it spread beyond my network. And then I'm meeting queens like this. And it's just happening, man. And one thing I want to say is it's one thing to have the rising, but we need to have an awareness with that rising that it's happening everywhere, you know, everywhere. We need to be mindful of that. Sometimes people feel it's just inside them. And the best analogy that I could think of when I was reflecting on these times that we're in is, you know, we all know what rain is, but all of us act differently to it. You know, some people are going to run back inside the house when it rains and dodge the raindrops. Some people are going to wear an umbrella. Some people are going to put their hood on. And it's like, what are we going to do in the rising season? You know, don't just think it's happening to you. You're in your house and it's rising outside. It's like, yo, maybe it's rising everywhere. So, you know, do your bit. Do your bit, man. If you're going to stay at home and it's rising, let someone come in and shelter with you. You know, rising outside, you got an umbrella, give someone an umbrella so they can be protected. You know, if whatever it is, you know, play your part. And I think it's so important that we don't play our part as if to follow fashion, you know, or to do just because everyone is marching. It doesn't mean that you have to go and do that. If you feel it, go and do it. If you're going to be active online, do that. If you're going to go and look after your family, do that. Activism isn't a stereotype, isn't a particular thing to do, and rising isn't a particular thing to do. It's something you innately know inside yourself when you're being authentic. So this is just me, you know, creating a weekly platform and growing with more family from around the world. Felicia, Cade out in LA, amazing. My homegirl Carmel down in Houston, Texas.
Deem. Deem.
The homie Deem. Come on, Deem, just super, super dope from the south. You know, Nala out in Switzerland doing amazing work.
Yeah.
And the whole family down in, you know, just across the motherland. You know, it just humbles me when we go live and I just see so much people.
You send so much love. You're so much more than a platform. You've created a movement. You haven't created a platform. You've literally created a movement. You're ringing that alarm with every single poet, with every single word that is being uttered on your show. It is an alarm because you don't know what word will hit where or pluck what chord in whose heart. And you don't know what ripples that will create.
Real talk. The show, like, family, just come and check us out. You know, we're going to make an announcement shortly because, you know, yes, you're going to see us on Instagram, but we are here on StreamYard. We're doing our first global collaboration. We couldn't think of anyone better to do than Africa Week, Africa Rising. We got a special show lined up for Wednesday, exclusively announced here. But the show is so fresh, even I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just in flow, and I'll be talking to a queen, a king, and we'll hit a moment of honesty and integrity. And sometimes the heart opens up, and we've had so many people talk about, you know, injuries they've had, dreams that have fallen apart, and how they fix themselves, how people have overcome pain, and people's genuine hopes and dreams, man. And I pride myself in creating a safe space for storytelling. And trust me, if you come with the intention to learn something of value, I don't think we've ever had a show where you didn't leave with a gem. There's always something special that you're going to learn from the show, man. I come off the live, I'm so tired. I'm like, oh, like just the download of love and energy.
Run a marathon.
Yeah, for sure.
Comments, they're a marathon. I'm sat there and I'm listening and I'm just like tapping all that heart.
I love it. I love it.
And tagging people. Yeah. Okay, we keep talking and I can keep talking here for another 3 days to learn about what drives you and how you've been doing this. But as you said, you're coming back on Wednesday, and this time you're coming as part of the family here. I'm hoping you're also going to still be live streaming it on IG so that the family.
We'll figure out. I have to turn into the mad scientist and figure out how to get the IG family. I'm going to bring them across, but those who can't make it, we're going to find some way of broadcasting.
We're going to be live and we're staying on our page. We're not going anywhere. It's going to be on YouTube as well. So the love stays. We're not going anywhere. But tell us why are you doing Feels Like Home? Why is the theme Feels Like Home?
Okay, so it's Black love stories. Every week we have a theme. Our Black Woman Time first theme was Queendom. What is it to be a queen? So this particular show, it's a form of homecoming. You know, I've been grateful to have traveled back to the motherland on a couple of occasions, and every time, just when I arrived in Madagascar, for instance, before I opened my mouth, like, everyone just looked at me and just walked on. I looked so home until I opened my mouth, and then like, who is this guy? Like, where's he come from? Why doesn't he speak any of our languages? But you know, it felt like home. Like, just the energy, the vibe, the look of the people, and the feeling. So Feels Like Home is us creating a place that we can call home. So I know the audience can travel across the five union states in Africa. What was that?
The 5 regions of the African Union.
Beautiful. So the 5 regions, and then we're going to represent the diaspora just through us being home in London, UK. So what we're going to do is spend 20 minutes in each one of these regions, meeting influencers, creatives, and all of them have a mission to make us feel at home in their country with their stories and their craft. And by the end of the 2-hour show, we'd have traveled around Africa and ended up back here in the UK, hopefully a bit wiser and a bit connected, more connected at the end of the journey. So it's part of a bigger ambition we have to tell stories of the people of color from across the whole of the diaspora, I don't care which square on this planet, somewhere on that square is a black man or a black woman just being black and amazing. And I want to gather them all together because we have a global passport, man. We have to know wherever you are, whether it's Scotland or Scandinavia, whether you're in Ireland or Iceland, there is a place for you on this planet, and you're sovereign. So the journey begins.
The hot air balloon. The hot air balloon.
Yeah.
What Alain here is telling you is that he's going to be taking an eraser and quite literally erasing these borders. Even the fact that there are 5 regions, and then now they've added the diaspora in the African region, so that in the African Union, so that we're 6 regions of the African Union. What this work is doing right here is erasing these borders. We are not regions. We are not regions. We are not clusters. We are not anything but one. One family, one people, one struggle, one fight, one success, one rising. And this is exactly what this show is going to be about. Our oneness, our coming together for our inevitable Africa rising. And do not miss this. Whatever you are doing, mark your calendars right now. This is going to be on the 24th of September from 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, from 2 to 4. And in London, what time is that going to be?
7 till 9 GMT.
7 till 9 GMT. Find out whatever that time is in whatever time zone. Joe, you're in the Philippines. I don't know what time zone that is, but find out that time zone. Find out what it is. Tune in. Don't miss it, because we're going to have people from South Africa. You're going to be taken to South Africa. You're going to be taken to Kenya. You're going to be taken to Rwanda. You're going to be taken around the world in absolute Black excellence,
Yes.
in unapologetic Blackness.
Come on.
Please don't miss this for you.
For real. We're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it again. But I want you to say I was there when the hot air balloon took off at the very, very first show. We're writing history, people. That's what we're doing, and we need your help. We want you to tell us where to go next. This is 6 stops on a journey around the world. If you know an influencer, a creative, an entrepreneur, storyteller, activist who can help us understand the place you call home, then reach out to us. And we're going to keep telling their stories on our platform and creating shows. I mean, we got Black History Month next month in the UK. I've just acquired a studio to broadcast from. We're going to be doing so much more storytelling, and we need you.
Alain, how do they reach out to you to tell you what your next stop is?
I would say the best way is probably the Instagram. Holler on that, and if you want to get me classic, old school, the email, we can hit that up too. So the email is real simple. WeAreAfricaRising@bmtstories.com. That's up. So Dima, if you can let them know.
I am putting it down right now.
.com. Email us, reach out, and let's tell this story, because the legacy of this work, when you check out our Instagram, is to gather the awesome everyday stories of Black men and women and have them in our own library that we have the keys to. So when you have your daughter, you have your son, and they want to know who they're going to be in life, don't look at the TV. Don't look at the media. Go and look at the platform, and you'll see every kind of king and every kind of queen. And your child will feel safe in their identity, because there is somebody who's lived a life that can teach them how to live to their fullest. That's part of the journey. So help us build that library.
Because representation matters. Because just because we grew up not seeing what we currently are on TV, without being shot, without being imprisoned, without being ostracized by our own people even. We need our youth, we need this next generation to see a completely different story. To see the love, to feel the love. for Black
100%.
love stories.
100%. You know, I'll just add one more thing. Representation matters. Manifestation matters. You know, everything that exists on this planet that wasn't made through nature was manifested through somebody's mind. So sometimes you have to be the first. Not the first ever to do it, but the first to do it, to represent it in this time. A lot of the things I dreamt of as a child, you know, I had to do it even if no one around me was doing it, because it was coming out of me, man. Just like coming out of me.
I know.
When I was 7, I was like this kid. Like I was painting with oil paints at the age of 7 on canvas, and nobody told me I should or shouldn't, or I could or I couldn't. It was just what I was doing. And if I was in an environment that was more able to nurture what was manifesting out of my mind, no examples outside, just me painting. I was 7 in a house in London, and when I closed my eyes, I just saw a field, and I saw a fence, and I saw a path go into the distance. I saw a tree. I saw further beyond that. I saw a beach. I saw the ocean. I saw a lighthouse. I saw mountains. I saw snow. I saw birds. I saw a sunset, and it was normal. And what we need our people to understand is that is actually normal for us, to have deep and powerful visualizations. And when we look into a world where we don't have that reflected back to us, it's okay. Maybe we're the first one to put it out there in this time. So I want our children to live lives. You know, when I was growing up, there was no YouTube when I was a kid. So we need to start dreaming about making things no one's seen before. We have to.
I love that you're emphasizing in this life, because that is not something we're taught or even familiar with growing up.
Yeah.
That this is just one of the lives. That you know what, others have been here before us. That there's a solid possibility that we've been here before. We've just been there doing it differently.
And this is the point. Like the biggest lie that was ever told to us is time goes forward, time goes round. It does. You know, every clock will show you that. So your time comes and it goes round and round and round. And we have to realize that a lot of our young kings and queens are not reaching their prime because from generations before and generations before, they've always tried to stop us reaching our full potential. You know, so the things we're suffering from, we've suffered from for a very long time.
Which goes back to what you said. If you're an adult right now, you have suffered some form of trauma, and it's okay to take this time to heal.
It's essential. It's essential. You know, I've made a stand in my life where, you know, the generational curse, they call it, which I don't like as a phrase, or the trauma that's passed down. You know, if my dad was beaten as a child badly, you know, by his parents, or his father would then beat me, and then I'm gonna look at my son and say, well, tradition. No, let's analyze why we're doing this. I sat down with Dr. Leanne Levers, and she was explaining that, you know, during the time of slavery, to bring submission to the slaves, they would beat the slaves into submission to bring order. So our arc of tradition was changed through slavery, where we feel submission and order is brought through beating our children. You know, Dr. John Henry Clark told us that in the ancient Africa, there was no word in the vocabulary for prison. So when we go back to our ancestral roots, we're navigating some horrendous landscapes, but we can't mistake those landscapes for our land. These are lands we've passed through. We need to get back home. And love is what's going to heal us. It's the greatest force on this planet. And love has been reduced to bunny cards, little pink hearts, and a bag of nonsense. Love is what brought us onto this planet, and there's no force greater. Love is strong, man. Love is tough. Love is a badass. Love is not to be messed with.
Nah.
When we get our love swagger on, that's what we're afraid, because that hate talk, they boss that, man. Whoever is trying to hold us down, their hate game is so strong. I don't even want to mess with it. But that love game we have is so powerful.
It's stronger. It's stronger, and They're already seeing it. It's why they're panicking. They're already seeing it. I'll read Tara's comment, but right before I do that, and then we have to say see you later, because we'll have the opening ceremony in about 2 minutes. So stay tuned. I just want to let you know that your Return of the Icons work has inspired actually an entire session, 2 sessions, but one specifically that is a debate between some brilliant high schoolers from Rwanda, talking about, is Africa ready for the return of the icons? Debating whether or not we're ready, because, you know, the response is we're not. That's what they tell us. They tell us we're not because we don't have what it takes to look after our history. Have you heard anything any more ridiculous than that? So, family, if you're tuned in, check the schedule that we're going to.
Don't get me started. You can't do this to me.
Oh, this entire week.
I'm gonna give you an exclusive. I'm gonna give you an exclusive. Like when you go to the British Museum, I go to the British Museum. There are people like you see a pharaoh statue. You see a fist of a pharaoh this big. You can only imagine the rest of the statue. And there's little kids going up to that with their parents, fist bumping this pharaoh's fist, then taking photographs. I'm like, are you mad? People sitting on the edge of ceremonial coffins, talking. How can you get so close to greatness with no knowledge? So being ready to look after them, we can do better than that already. I'm just saying.
Oh, absolutely.
So hey, like I don't want to spill any more tea on this debate. I know you lot have to. I'm going to lock into the debate for sure.
Please, because you know what? It needs to be done. Maybe we can get a few of the poets as well with some of the pieces so these kids can hear. That's what they're doing. Okay, Tara, this is the last comment we have, and then we'll be saying arrivederci. Yes, so well said on the rain analogy. I have found that this moment is allowing and encouraging all of us to tap into our unique individual, introverted and introspective selves. We need to be mindful of that in all of us and center introverts, highly sensitive individuals, those who are shy and choice with their words, and learn to thrive in solitude. And while some might not incline to be surrounded by a lot of people, but still being in community.
Tara, we need to talk. That is music to my soul, to my soul, man. Because I'm a proud introvert, and I always say to people that, you know, we've heard all the loud voices, and if the world is in the condition it's in, maybe the quiet voices, we need to make some space for those to be heard, man. You don't have to be out there in the spotlight to change the world. Quite often, it's the person holding the spotlight who is changing the world. So, yo, love, for sure.
Love, man, more love. And on this note, we say see you later. And Alain, thank you.
Man, this is a whole hour.
Thank you. And you know what? And you had a story. We could go for another longer, but we're going to be
so much fun.
Ceremony. So much fun. Such a pleasure and a blessing to have you in our opening day. And we can't wait till Wednesday. Actually, Alain will also be there tomorrow, 9 a.m. our time, talking Black men, mentoring, and mental health.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, fam. Refresh. We'll see you.
24/7, Africa Week 24/7. I keep rising, man. So, yo, yeah, I'm here for you. So, love, Dima, love, Alex, to the whole Africa Week family. Peace, blessings, and I'll see you very soon.
Blessings.